Okay, thanks, Alan.
Okay. This is just to introduce the Digital Leaders Programme we've got at Brunellian. I got the idea from a technology college back in March last year, and the idea basically is you get a bunch of pupils who are interested in technology, kind of teaching the teachers in a way, because you've got lots of teachers in school that maybe are not technologically minded, and this is just a way of using them and building their confidence to get them teaching about technology in the school. We had loads of reasons why. At the point when we decided to introduce this, we'd had lots of new software introduced at the school. The VLE was a school priority, loads of things going on, and the staff were kind of putting technology to the back burner to try and get on with the day-to-day job of teaching. We had all this brilliant technology that wasn't being utilised to great effect. So we've got all the new, full new suite of computers that all had Windows 7, so teachers weren't necessarily comfortable with Windows 7 as opposed to Windows XP, which we had previously. There was a whole new suite of Microsoft Office software, which again was unfamiliar to staff. The VLE is a priority at our school and getting staff to use it, as well as uploading it and engaging with children while they're using it. Loads of things going on generally around school, like using things like Twitter for sports days and events for performances and things like that. And as I mentioned before, we had a fair amount of not tech-savvy staff really, some that would just avoid using it so that they didn't have to come a cropper, I suppose, when they were using it. The VLE, the staff usage when I first arrived there was fairly low. Difficult to get staff using it because of the training issues involved. A lot of them didn't know about it or how it worked or understood it. Many didn't remember the passwords. Uploading content was like an alien concept. Adding interest spaces for not just lessons, but for adding interest spaces for maybe school trips. So we've got one guy who does ski trips every year. He's putting interest space on there for school trips. So now anybody, the parent that wants to have find out a bit of information, rather than just looking at the courses for content, they can look at information for what's going on outside of school as well. And we also introduced lots of things in the school. We've got 3D technology quite recently from Gaia in Bangor. We've now got a PLC that is kind of not led by digital leaders, but they're involved in it to a great extent. We purchased some augmented reality resources, which were, whiz bang again, but again, staff weren't too sure how to use them. And I'd introduced some online storage and assessment, which I'll show you later on. But we'd also taken up Live at Edu for the email system. So there's loads of things that were going on. And for me, working in IT, they'd come to me and say, well, how do I do this, how do I do that? It became crazy. So I thought, if I get a nice little team of individuals that are tech savvy and want to do something extra in the school, then that will be quite useful. So I got this idea from somebody else. It's not something I came up with. I got it from Hamble Technology College. And we got the pupils to apply to be a digital leader in any digital means. So they could apply by email, animation, video, whatever they chose to do. I got some great responses back. One girl did a PowerPoint, and it was all about why I should pick her and why she should be a digital leader. That was fairly basic in itself. The good point about it was she'd password encrypted the PowerPoint, and she'd put the password in a QR code and gave them the QR code as well. I said, what's that? She said, you find out when you put the disk in. So I put the disk in with the password. Oh, this is really good. Scanned it, got the password, went in. Great. The PowerPoint, you do what you do in a PowerPoint. The PowerPoint's not rocket science, but she was really innovative in her approach to applying digitally. One lad did a Lego video saying why he should be a digital leader. It was stop motion, and he had this little car going around his bedroom, and it must have took him literally weeks, because there's about 1,000 pictures there that he'd put in order. But that was the way they had to apply. With different roles that the pupils could undertake. So at Brunellian we've got teacher trainers, e-safety advisors, digital journalists, and VLE champions. There are other roles that you could encompass into a digital leaders programme, but because there's training that goes behind all of these anyway, again, trying to take some of the staff burden away from what I'm doing with training for staff in the school, we limited it to just the 4 roles. So we had 3 areas of focus to start with. The first one, which we thought was fairly important, was e-safety. Not a great deal going on in the school as far as e-safety is concerned, but lots and lots of horror stories coming out about how bad Facebook is and how bad Twitter is, and it's the demon and we should never allow our children anywhere near a computer ever again. So we thought we'd focus on that one first. So the guys put together a e-safety booklet, and we ran a Year 7 parents' evening and invited all Year 7 parents to come in and talk about e-safety, so we'd allay all their fears. And it was the digital leaders, the children that put this on. We were just there as kind of facilitators, I suppose, and they explained to the children what they would like to use Facebook for, and that really it's not such a bad thing after all. We then set up a VLE surgery. This was mainly to try and avoid staff trying to pull pupils after school or on lunch times. If they've got a question about the VLE, they could pose a question online, and then one of the digital leaders, they would take it in turns checking the post on there. They would go on there and find out what the issue was and hopefully respond and solve the problem. Once we've been doing this a while, we kept getting the same problems over and over again. So how do I add an interest space? How do I create a course? How do I upload content? So what we then did was creating videos showing people how to do that. So it said, right, if you've got an issue and it's one of these 3 things, watch the video first, then if you're stuck, come back to us. So that stopped a lot of the queries coming in. And then the next one was the 3D technology that we've got in the school. Introducing new technology is always difficult because the staff want to use it, want to see the benefit of the 3D technology. If you've seen it, it's fantastic. But again, there's a training need for staff that want to use it. So the digital leads were all trained themselves on how to use the software from a staff's point of, from a teacher's point of view, and they've then gone along after that and trained staff individually who want to use it in their lessons. The digital leads, as far as I'm concerned, on this side of things have been superb. They've also done this at about 3 open evenings, and they've presented this kind of stuff in Cardiff as well. They've been stood at the front in an open evening with loads of parents there and just said, oh, look at our software, this is brilliant, with no fear whatsoever. Just stood at there. It was really nice to see, it was good. So the results so far, I would say it's still in its early stages because the pupils need a fair bit more training, but we've got a nice group of young people that they've kind of got a voice in the school, and they've got the opportunity to change what happens as far as technology is concerned. Any new kit, they're the first ones to look at it. Technology is right at the heart of what we do at Brunellian as far as the digital, the 3D technology is concerned, and trying to engage not only pupils but parents as well in the technology that the children will be using, and trying to give them a bit of training at the same time. So that's the nice thing I think we've got. We've got pupils working together with teachers, and it's not the case of the teacher sits down and we are the oracle and we're going to tell you everything and you don't know anything until we've told you it. We've got all these bodies in the school that know far more than some of the teachers, and we're picking out the ones that really want to take on board and teach other teachers, and they're helping them to a great degree. So it's quite exciting. Teachers and pupils working together and learning together as well. So from here, well, I'd like to take a step back from the Digital Leaders Programme, if I'm honest, because they can kind of run themselves now, but they've just got their hands on the Python programming language, so they're kind of running with that a little bit. But I want them to get, I want staff to get to the point where they're picking technology for lessons as a matter of course, in the right situations, not just for the sake of using the 3D, but they've come up with an idea and said, I think this would be great to do with the 3D software, and make it the first choice rather than, oh, well, you know, I could use that because we've got it in the school. And just let the digital leaders lead, I suppose, at this point in time. That's it.